ready, and because we have the star of the show, none other than Dr. Amar Agarwal. Let's give a big round of applause for Dr. Amar. And for so many innovations, whatever we are talking today, the glued IOL, the SFT, or the pinhole pupiloplasty, or the PDEC, or whatever it is, it's all because of this great guy. And he's been part of this course, and he's going to talk to us on some complex situation with the glued IOL as well.
Thank you very much, Mohan. Sorry, I was in another course. I apologize. So let's look at a couple of videos which I thought I'll show you. One is this case which I thought I'll show you. This is the triad. The patient has microcornea, aphakia, and sombering ring. Now the problem here is this. When you get a microcornea, even without a PCR, please understand me, 7 millimeter, 8 millimeter eye, if you put an IOL in the bag, it's like a fetus in a womb. It just crumble up. So the only way you can do it is if you do a glued IOL, and we published this in the year 2015, because the haptics are outside. The optic is 6 millimeter. So the smallest I can go is a 6 millimeter white to white cornea, microcornea. Another thing we designed is the trocar AC maintainer, in which the trocar AC maintainer is just like the same trocar, but here is going above the iris. You can use the Alcon trocar AC maintainer, which is blue in color, 25 gauge. These AC maintainers are very large. Second thing, you would make a knife entry, then enter inside. If you put a pars plana, you can create this problem of a corneal detachment or some other retinal complications also can come into play. So look at this. I have done the scleral flaps. Look at the blue coloration there. That's the trocar AC maintainer. Now the problem in this case is there is aphakia, there is a rupture, but there are sombering rings present. Can I leave them behind? If I leave a sombering ring behind, please understand, what will happen? It can produce an IOL tilt. It can fall down. It can produce inflammation. So there are various complications which can occur with a sombering ring. Here you can see a sombering ring on the retina. I brought it up, but it is a headache. They cannot be removed by vitrectomy probe. We published the IOL scaffold in the year 2013. So we thought the same principle we use for sombering ring. Make the flaps, but remember, the scaffold has to go behind the sombering ring where there is no capsule. So the only way that can be done is, it can be done as a glued IOL or a Yamane IOL. So either it will be a glued IOL scaffold or a Yamane IOL scaffold. Then you do a vitrectomy there, break the adhesions, remove the iris hooks back again, and phaco-emulsify this sombering rings. This is the way to manage this. And we published this in 2015 in JCRS. So you can see now I'm enlarging that opening there. Here I'm just showing you another case in which I put a sombering ring but anterior to the sombering ring, a glued IOL. Look at the mistake I'm doing. How will I reach the sombering ring? The mistake is the glued IOL has to go behind the sombering ring. So look, I'm now catching the haptic there. You can use a J&J 3-piece IOL. Once that goes inside, the optic goes in. Now look, I'm going to do the handshake technique. This is the no assistant technique started by Dr. Narang. Transferring haptic from one hand to the other, bringing the haptic out. Once both haptics are out, look, there's a lot of haptic externalized. All I do is trim it because it's a microcornea eye. Then tuck the haptics inside the tunnel, 26 gauge Chariot's pocket there inside. Once that's done, now remember, I'm going to break the adhesions to the periphery. Once those adhesions are broken, I can go into the phaco-emulsification and emulsify all these sombering rings. So this is the way to manage patients with microcornea, aphakia, and sombering ring. In other words, I've shown you how to use a glued IOL as a scaffold to manage not only the microcornea, but also to manage the sombering rings. Once all the sombering rings are removed, take out the iris hooks. And once those iris hooks are okay, these patients normally will have nystagmus. They can improve to even 636, which is excellent vision for these people. And you'll see the immediate post-op of this patient. Post-op day 2 itself, vision is 636, and you can see the nystagmus present. Now, this is the first case which I thought I'll show you. Now, let's take another case and make it more difficult. Okay? Look at this patient here now. This patient has got aphakia, no doubt, but there's a huge scar. I want all of you to see this picture there. When you do a pentacam, there are so many images, it will become very confusing for everyone. Take the one where there are 6 images. That is the important holiday pentacam report. Now take the one in the middle. Look on the top there. It shows astigmatism about 3.764. And the RMS HOA, you see it is in red. It's showing about 6. So if I just magnify that game a bit, I'll just show it to you in a second. This is what it was showing as. Remember, like you have myopia, like you have hyperopia, in 2002, we published the terminology as aberropia. Normal aberration should be 0.3. In this case, you can see it's 6.3. Till 1 year, okay. If the patient has got 1 to 5 aberropia, make your pupil 1.5. If it is 5 and above, go for a 1 millimeter pinhole pupil. So that's the basic concept which I thought I'll show you all. Now, let's come back to the patient here. This patient has a large white to white. You can see it's 12 millimeters. Now, when the patient has a large white to white, I'm making my scleral flaps. Once my scleral flaps are made, look at this. How do I externalize the haptics through a large white to white eye? I've got fluid in the eye. Previous case, I showed you trocar ACM. Here, I'm showing you through the pars plana. The simple trick is to do a peripheral iridectomy. Look at this. I'm making a small iridectomy in the periphery. The advantage here is, once I've got that, I am going more anteriorly. I'll be about 0.5 to 1 millimeter from the limbus. People will tell you, go 2 millimeters from the limbus. If you go so far back, the amount of haptic externalization will be very less. So the amount of tuck will be less. Subsequently, you might get a subluxed IOL postoperatively. Look at this. Catch the haptic. Now inject. Do not worry. This lens cannot go anywhere. You're holding one haptic. The second haptic is outside the eye. Pull it out. Once that's out, remember that. Now do the handshake technique, the no assistant technique which I talked about. Transfer haptic from one hand to the other and pull out. Now you got both haptics out. Look at the amount of haptic externalized. It's a lot. And remember, this was a large eye of 12 millimeters, and these lenses are 13 millimeters only. Now you take a tunnel, create with a 26 gauge chariot tunnel as we call it, with a 26 gauge needle, tuck inside. Case not over, because this patient otherwise will go for a penetrating keratoplasty, which we want to avoid. Simple technique is, all of you, if you can, learn the single pass 4th row pupiloplasty. Once you have done that, I'm starting the 4th row pupiloplasty on one side. You can keep on repeating as much as you want. What is my game plan? My game plan is, I need that pupil to miss the central scar. 1, location where I want. 2nd, size about 1 to 1.5, exactly where I want. Invariably, when you go back and start your first pinhole, you'll make a 2, 2.5, and then the patient will go to 660 or 624, and you'll curse me. So I'm telling you now, sir, please, in the beginning itself, make the pupil 1 to 1.5, not more than that. If you make a mistake, ladies and gentlemen, make smaller. No problem. You can always enlarge with a YAG laser. But if you make big, you have to reoperate that patient and take him back to the OR. Now look at the large peripheral iridectomy it has become because of the pull on the 4th row pupiloplasty. That also can be closed by the 4th row pupiloplasty. As you can see, the pupil becoming smaller and smaller. Now my question is, do I close that iridectomy there? So again, using the 4th row pupiloplasty, I'll be closing that easily. And once that is closed, now see how the pupil is. At the end, you need a vitrectomy probe. So you can see now, before I close up everything, I'm seeing the haptic tuck is good. Now take a vitrectomy probe and locate it exactly, check the size. All phaco machines have got very good vitrectomy probes. You can use it. If you're good in posterior segment, like what I'm using here, I can use a posterior segment. But by and large, the principle is you're getting a pupil slightly decentered. Remember that. But that does not matter. It's slightly decentered only. Take out the trocar, fix the glue, close the case up. Now the question comes, how did this patient behave? Remember, the patient had come to you for a penetrating keratoplasty, but you are avoiding it. So you can see the pre-op picture, post-op within 1 week, the patient is already 612. Another beauty of these patients is they see distance and near without glasses. So it gets like a multifocal IOL. They get extended depth of focus. So I thought I'll just show you a couple of cases to show you on these IOL fixation techniques. I'm trying to show you more difficult cases to help you improve yourself. I'd like to thank Sujata and Mohan Rajan for inviting me for this conference and for this course of theirs. Thank you very much. If anyone has doubts, please ask me.
Amar, if you have any more interesting videos you can show, we have another 5 minutes.
Oh, yes, please.
If you have any questions, we are open. But
Sir, amazing videos, and I think in one video you have 5 innovations going. This thing is, where do you put the AC trocar maintenance? Sir? Is it better to put it at the limbus or in the cornea?
In the limbus
AC
or the
trocar.
limbus?
The limbus.
Because see, when you pull out, don't go through cornea, it indents the cornea. Please understand me, it will indent the cornea. So what happens if you go about 0.5 millimeter from the limbus through scleral area, it does not indent the cornea. You can do what you're saying, but the problem is there'll be slight indentation, you check it.
And can it be direct, or do we have to
I used to do
directly?
I used to do tunnel, now I do direct between you and me, easier. So since Sujata asked me to talk more, I'll just talk on another nice topic. She's given me another 5 minutes. So thank you very much, Sujata. So I thought I'll show you, this is an interesting case which I think we should see. Okay, now look at this patient. I've got a subluxed IOL. Please understand, these are progressive conditions sometimes. Okay? If you put these endocapsular rings, Cioni, Vioni, whatever you want to put, you can put. 10 years down, you'll see it lying on the retina. So here you see I made my flaps. Now you can see I'm making my iridectomy there. Once I made my iridectomy, I'm able to come more anterior. Look, I've come anterior. But the reason why I'm showing you this case is slightly more different. Like I showed you in a Sommering ring, the question is, can I do a glued IOL scaffold? So here you can see, I've done a bit of vitrectomy. Now watch, I'm going to implant the glued IOL behind the existing cataract. So you can see I'm catching the haptic now, slowly injecting. Once first haptic is caught, I will pull it out. Once that is out, okay, now next step is, I will see that is coming out slowly. Look, that lens will not go anywhere. Once one haptic is out, now you are safe. One haptic is out, other haptic is still inside the eye. Now look at this small trick. Take a small IV set, cut it. Pass it through a 26 gauge needle and pass that needle into the haptic. Now shift the IV plug into the haptic. You see that? Now what happens, a very simple technique. Now that haptic will not go down. This is called the George Byko Roger Steinhardt Safran plug. Now I'm going to do the handshake technique, and I'm doing it behind the cataract. So you can do it comfortably. You can see I'm passing my forceps from one hand to the other. Once that is done, you will see subsequently there, I will now externalize the second haptic. Once both haptics are out, again I'll put a plug on the other side also. So you can see now on both sides you will have the Byko Steinhardt plugs present. Look at the amount of haptic externalized. Again, look, it's a lot. Okay? Once that is done, both plugs are on. Now my case is simple. I have got my own posterior capsule. That is the IOL, which is a scaffold. Now all I need to do is take my phaco probe and emulsify this nucleus. In this case, it will be like a rat eating a piece of cheese. So I'm just going on nibbling till the whole cataract will come out. The cataract will not go down because my IOL is there, giving it full stability, giving it full support. Once that is done, you can see the final portions of the cataract being removed. Here you can see I'm emulsifying that cataract. And look, it's a dense cataract, okay? But I'm able to go down deeper because I'm touching the capsule where the IOL is. For me, the capsule now is the IOL. So that final pieces are done. All I need to do is take my vitrectomy probe and knock off this cortex which you are seeing present there. So I'll take my vitrectomy probe, knock it all off there, and you can see now the case nearly completed. Once that's done, all I need to do is take out those plugs which I had fixed inside that eye and tuck the haptics inside. So ladies and gentlemen, what have I done in this case? I have a subluxed cataract. I'm trying to show you how you can do a glued IOL scaffold and fix this case up. Now look, pupil is dilated, okay? At this stage, do the photopupillasty. Don't leave the patient just like that. Patient will be okay, but they will not be extremely happy. Whereas when I do this and make the pupil a bit smaller, you will see the patient extremely happy. There will be no glare. The vision is going to be excellent. Look at the Perkins image, bang on track there in the center of the pupil. I'm using my vitrectomy probe to check everything down. Now let's see how this patient behaved at the end of the day. So this is a very simple case of glued IOL scaffold being done for sublux cataracts. Now apply the glue, seal everything down. Once everything is down, let's see how the patient behaved at the end of the day. And you'll see that here, this is how the patient looks. Look at the patient post-op day 1, 6-9. So pre-op was sublux cataract. Intraoperative, I showed you the glued IOL as a scaffold. You can see the plugs also of Roger Steinhardt, great man, and George Baiko, Steve Safran. Post-op day 1, 6-9. Glued IOL scaffold, phaco with the photopupillasty. Sublux cataract managed by glued IOL scaffold. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Amar. That was really, what you call spellbinding. And I request all of you not to follow Amar, because I don't think anybody else can do this. It's quite dangerous, but you can see how elegantly he finished the surgery. Any questions?
My question is to Dr. Amar Agarwal. Dr. Amar Agarwal, did you try pupilloplasty fourth-row in a traumatic case, mydriasis with clear lens?
Okay, so the question is, can I do, simple question, what he's asking me is, can I do photopupillasty in a phakic eye? That's it, don't do it. If I have a case like that, I'll make him pseudophakic. You can try Yogesh Bhai, but the problem in these cases is, you'll hit the lens sometimes. So another method is, what Mahipal Sachdev has done is, he has put a ICL or a foldable lens inside the eye, then done the fourth row, before closing he pulls it out. So that's been published in the IGO also. But if you ask me, I'll make them pseudophakic.
Thank you.
Wonderful video, Amar.
Thanks,
I
Yogesh Bhai.
just have a small question. Is it worth doing pars plana vitrectomy at the end, in the last case which you showed?
Yeah, you should do a little bit, 100%. If you need it, 100% you should do.
Because
if you see vitreous anywhere, see, in my video it will be edited, but if it, I would always clear up everything. See that there's no vitreous inside, 100%.
Thank you.
Amar, usually they say in all these cases, it's better to do a base excision and do a total vitrectomy.
I don't do it, unless it's a drop nucleus or something like that. This is just simple aphakia. So in this, I'll do a little bit. See, the idea of this is what? Simple. When I'm putting the IOL inside, I don't want it to go into vitreous. So if I don't have vitreous, I've got fluid. If I've done an anterior and mid vitrectomy, it's enough. In this type of case, I'm not talking of dropped IOLs and dropped nucleus. That's a different ballgame. But if I just have it this much, my idea is when the IOL goes inside, I don't want it to hit into the vitreous. So if I've done an anterior mid vitrectomy, as an anterior segment surgeon, all of you can do that very comfortably. You don't need to refer a glued IOL to a retina guy.
So where is this ACM trocar available?
Very simple. You go to, I had designed them from Mastel, but now very simple. That person passed away recently. So you go to Alcon, or if you have a good friend in retina, you'll be having 100. Ask them to give you the Alcon Trocars 25 gauge blue color ka bahut acha hota hai. The orange color which I've shown you is 23 gauge. You can use that, but it's a bit large.
25.
My suggestion is go for the 25
And
gauge
you go
blue color
beyond the
ones.
limbus, just beyond the limbus and parallel.
Just half millimeter from the limbus. See, when you go
Parallel to the
past
limbus,
planar,
sir?
you're scared. You do not know. Sometimes you don't see. Here, you're just half millimeter from the limbus.
Yeah,
You're
I
above the
agree.
iris.
We are scared to do that one. So do you go parallel to the cornea or the
Parallel.
iris plane?
Exactly parallel. Nothing will happen.
25 gauge.
Yeah.
Thank you so
You
much.
can make a tunnel. I used to do that, but I can make it simple. If it is blunt, Kirti, 1 minute, listen to me. You see, sometimes, I tell you, all of you, sometimes, look, I'll be very honest, I repeat the trocars. We don't just throw them off. So after the second or third time they get blunt, take a side port knife, make a small incision, and
MBR
then enter.
and MBR.
Sorry, they're calling me.